Today we're going to discuss a lot of information about e-bike laws, whether it's on federal land, Forest Service land, wildlife management units, and overall bike trails versus roads. There's a lot of confusing information out there, so hopefully today we're going to clarify a lot of this for you. To just start out, when you look at this bike is a Class 1 e-bike, and we're going to go through the 3 different classifications. Out there, everyone says that Class 1 is legal and it's considered a bicycle, which is true. How do you know which one's a Class 1? If it doesn't have a throttle. You simply remove the throttle off of our bike, and it's all based on miles per hour. So when you set your bike to 20 miles per hour and you don't have a throttle, it's 750 watts. You're considered a non-motorized bicycle, and you can go anywhere that a bicycle can go. Where it gets confusing is when you get into Class 2 and Class 3. Class 2 bicycle is the same thing, 20 miles per hour, 750 watts, but it does have this throttle. That's considered motorized in some areas. However, national parks, you're able to ride a Class 2 e-bike. So check your local laws there when you have national parks in your state. Now when you get to the Class 3, where people consider it motorized, that's when you have a throttle and it's set at 28 miles per hour, and that's at 750 watts as well. So there's your 3 levels of classifications. The great thing about Baku bikes is you can set it to any of these 3. We do ask that you know your laws, you abide by your laws, you stay on the trails where they allow e-bikes, especially Class 1 e-bikes, and make sure you remove your throttle. Going through national level laws such as the Forest Service, there's some information that I'm going to be sharing with you and how this affects you in your local states. On the Forest Service website, it talks about how more than 60,000 miles of trails and thousands of miles of roads on national forests and grasslands are currently open to e-bike use. They do encourage local Forest Service decision makers to expand access to recreational opportunities on our forests and grasslands in ways that meet our users' needs while continuing to protect forest resources. On a national level, they're allowing this. However, as we're noticing on local levels, they are banning e-bikes. And so it's important that you get involved in your local RAC meetings and your local meetings at the local district level. At the local DWR level, they just recently came out with an article talking about banning of Class 2 and Class 3 e-bikes. Unfortunately, there's some news outlets that came out with the title that e-bikes were banned. That caused a lot of questions for us, and so we wanted to dig a little deeper. We reached out to the DWR and we received a response from them that they clarified that Class 1 e-bikes are allowed. On November 7th, they did ban Class 2 and Class 3 e-bikes as they consider these motorized vehicles. However, Class 1 e-bikes can be used on established roads and other authorized areas. This is for both wildlife and waterfowl management areas. So we did receive clarification that Class 1s are allowed on these areas. And so again, check with your local jurisdictions. So if you take this bike without the throttle on it and you set it to 20 miles per hour at 750 watts, you are considered Class 1. It is considered a bicycle, and you are legal to ride these anywhere a bicycle can ride. I hope these answered all the questions that you guys have. Check the links for any additional questions that you have in your local areas for Forest Service, BLM land, national parks, and your overall state laws. Utah alone here locally, they've just funded millions of dollars to create e-bike trails within our state to open up more recreation for these opportunities. Thank you for following, and let us know if you have any questions.